young guy, man, like it's hard for me to say because, you know, it's some people. I just got over the fact that my route makes people uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Just me being young and you know, when people say you deserve it, I'm always like, yeah, man. But you know, there's a lot of guys that deserve it that don't get what they deserve. But at the same time, it is what it is, man. Like I work really hard for this. I think you gotta be prepared to pay your dues and you gotta be okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was always okay with it. Like I didn't, you know, I was making $740 a month. Like, did I like it? Nah. But did I complain about it? No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what it was. I knew that coming in. And that wasn't going to dictate how I worked. Ever. It was never going to dictate how I worked. Like, I was going to work like I made, you know, $100,000 every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. And I worked hard for the kids that were there. And I wanted to believe in them just as much as they believed in me. So I think for young guys, man, you got to always be prepared to pay your dues.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to listen more than you talk. I think that you have to build real relationships and be genuine, man. Like, just always be genuine.
That was Rod Clark, currently of the University of Tennessee. We spoke about his college career as a player, his path to Tennessee, the value of relationships, his relationship with Hall of Fame coach Larry Brown, and working for legendary head coach Rick Barnes at the University of Tennessee. I'm Mark Williams. This is the Assistants Podcast, and he is Rod Clark. Welcome back to another installment of the Assistants Podcast. I'm Mark Williams, your humble host of Team Footprints Basketball, and I brought somebody along. Actually, he just called in, or I called him today. We'll have somebody that's down in Tennessee, Coach Rod Clark. That was my whack Tennessee accent. Anyway, I have Rod Clark, who's an assistant coach at Tennessee. How you doing, sir? How are you?
I'm good, bro. Better than ever.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're in difficult times right now. How have you been holding up, you know, as fairly new to the assistants? I guess you what, 5 years now?
Nah, 3.
3 years.
Fairly
New to the whole assistant coaches thing. How's everything holding up for you so far?
It's good, man. I mean, it's you know, this is my third school in 3 years, man. So I've been some bouncing around. So, you know, I was laughing the other day. We had our first, and I was laughing with some of the guys on the staff. I was like, man, this is my third year being a new guy, and it never fails. On that first game, somebody from security's like, "Sir, sir, where's your pass? You can't be down here." And I'm like, "Bro, I want to do this as coaches," and they pause and look at you like, "Yeah, right." And I'm like, "No, like really, I am."
Like for real, not playing with
literally 3 straight years that's happened on the first game every year. I'm like, damn, I can't wait till this don't happen.
So you the old man on the staff?
Yeah, you know, I'm the young boy, and they treat me like I'm a player. It's crazy, man.
That's funny. All right, so how did you get into being an assistant coach? I know that you mentioned this is your third year, and you're like one of the biggest schools in the country on a low. How did you end up in the coaching ranks, and then how did you end up at Tennessee? What was your track before you got to Tennessee?
So, you know, like I'm born and raised from Kansas City, Missouri. You know, I played at Lee Summit West High School for Michael Sheever. He's one of the best coaches in Kansas City. We've had a couple pros coming out of Lee Summit West. Basketball, Shaq Harrison, he plays. He's with the Sixers G League team now, but he was with the Bulls and the Nuggets last year. He was one of the pros that played with me. So I graduated from there in 2011, and I went to Neosho County Community College in Kansas in the Jayhawk Conference.
Okay.
Like their year, played at Redlands Community College in Oklahoma my sophomore year. And then my junior and senior year, I played in an NAIA high school in Kentucky called Lindsey Wilson College. So I played my last 2 years there, graduated in 2015. When I graduated, while I was in college, my mom and my sister both moved to Dallas, Texas. And, you know, me being a young guy, I'm ready to go back to the crib. Like, I want to go back to Kansas City. Man, like, nah, you coming down here. So I had no choice to go to Dallas. Didn't want to go. Didn't know anybody really down there. Just didn't know the whole lay of the land. And I went, and it was, you know, one of the best decisions I could ever make. That first year I spent there, I was working at Nike, just being a regular dude, working 9 to 5. And then I I got into doing some personal training.
Mm-hmm.
Where I started kind of slowly getting into that. Tim Martin, was my man. He kind of took me under his wing, and I started training with him. He started coaching the EYBL team, R5 Lee, and Mo Williams Academy, and I was his assistant. And that was kind of like my first break into everything, just coaching and training. And then I got a hold of a group of kids that were kind of my own that I kind of trained from their freshman year of high school up, and it was Tyrese Maxey. Starting point guard for the Sixers. Drew Timme, the preseason national player of the year at Gonzaga. What did I have? Chris Harris is a guard at Oklahoma State. Isaac Likely, another guard at Oklahoma State. I had a good slew of young dudes. I kind of, I was their development guy. Through and through while I was in Dallas. And in 2017, 18 year, I went to Sunrise Christian. I moved to Wichita to coach at Sunrise. I was at Sunrise for 2 years. My first year at Sunrise was the number 2 team in the country by USA Today. My second year, we made our first ever appearance at Geico Nationals for that school. And after I had 2 years with them, 2 years with MoKen in between there also, where I made a Final Four in Peace Jam, and then the next year won Peace Jam. After that, I got my first job in Division I basketball, and that was at University of Illinois Chicago. I was there for a year. Made it to Horizon League Championship game my first year with them. I was at Austin Peay last year in OVC, Clarksville, and now, I'm at Tennessee.
Wow, that's a nice little path right there. So the skill development component, is that what you're primarily doing now with, at Tennessee as far as player development and skill work on the side?
Obviously player development is going to be something that I'm big on wherever I go. So that's something obviously I'm big with here. Recruiting, obviously, I'm big with that. I'm a big time defensive guy. As much as I love player development, I'm a defensive guy. So I work firsthand with our defense. Our associate head coach is our defensive guy, and so I work kind of with him. Okay. A lot of our defensive schemes and the way we guard, things like that. But development is always something that I'm always gonna be big on for sure. Okay, so now you're in. Now, when you're working at Nike, you working at a store with like a 30% discount or stuff like that, or? Yeah, that's what 30% discount. The whole family was suited and booted. That was my gig, man. It's crazy.
So when you're in line on doing whatever you were doing, did you ever think that you would end up at Tennessee, or did you think that you would end up in the coaching profession? Was that on your trajectory as a career?
It's crazy because excuse me. When I first got here, my first press conference was that exact same question.
Word.
And I told him, I said, I'd be lying if I told you I thought I was going to get Tennessee at 28. I'd be lying. You know what I mean? I didn't think that. But I knew that I was going to coach in college. I didn't know that. It's funny because if you ask, your dudes that, Tyrese Maxey, Drew Timme, any of them guys that knew me, I used to tell them, when y'all go to college, I'm going to college. And they should be like, what? Man, you for real? I'm like, yeah, man, when y'all go to college, I'm going to be a college coach. They're like, man, no, you not. You ain't leaving. You ain't leaving here. And not because they didn't believe me. They just was like, man, nah, you not going to college. Because the way I went, it was different. You know what I mean? It was the unheralded way. And sure enough, 2019 hit, and I was out. I was at Illinois, Chicago, and it all started from there, man. I've always worked with some really good people. Obviously, I've had a chance to develop some really good kids. Even though I was, coaching high school between prep school and grassroots, I didn't lose a lot of games. Right. I was with winning staffs. I was with really good people. I made really good relationships. And a lot of good people have been involved with my rise in the coaching ranks. It has all just been me. Right. But I've had a lot of people that vouched for me, a lot of people that have always supported me, a lot of people that always have believed in me as a person. You know what I mean? Like Tyrone Maxey, his dad, just randomly walked up one day and asked me to train his son because he'd seen me train some other kids and he believed in me. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Even to this day, thinking about, his dad used to pay me $70 a workout. Damn.
That's an individual?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
You know what I mean? And to come from that and to be here, it's crazy. It's was leaving. Like, man, I couldn't find anybody who wanted to do it. Man, 740, man, I ain't doing that. You know, I heard that all the time, and it made me realize how special it was that I was able to stick it out and do that,
right?
While also being motivated to get more. You know what I mean? So it was special. It was a special route. I'm grateful for it, forever thankful.
No, I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. I don't know if you follow Gary Vee, the motivation speaker, and he always says that you have to eat shit, excuse my French, for a couple years. And it sounds like when you were at Sunrise, and most high school coaches go through this. They're eating a lot of shit for a long time because the pay is not there. You're there for the love of really being there for the players, and obviously self-fulfillment and helping the players to get to the next level. If you were looking back at it right now, as a father and also a new father and a newlywed to a certain extent.
Yeah. I'm definitely I'm new both of those.
Yeah, new times two.
Yeah.
How would you recommend somebody to navigate through that whole process without a family, and then again as a newlywed coming into this profession? Because I know it's going to be a hard task for them.
Yeah, well, honestly, man, like obviously I just got married in April, and my daughter's 3 months, so the timing I feel like has been great because. If this was 3 years ago and I was in this situation, man, I think things would be a lot different. I'm not so sure I could have worked at Sunrise while I had a wife and a kid, you know what I mean? I think that would have been almost impossible. So I just think for any young guy, man, like it's hard for me to say because, it's some people, I just got over the fact that my route makes me more uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Just me being young and when people say you deserve it, I'm always like, yeah, man, but, there's a lot of guys that deserve it, that don't get what they deserve, but at the same time, it is what it is, man. Like, I work really hard for this. I think you gotta be prepared to pay your dues, and you gotta be okay with it. I was always okay with it. Like, I didn't, I was making $740 a month. Like, did I like it? Nah. But did I complain about it? No. Like, that's what it was. I knew that coming in. And that wasn't going to dictate how I worked. Ever. It was never going to dictate how I worked. Like, I was going to work like I made, $100,000 every day. And I did. And I worked hard for the kids that were there. And I wanted to believe in them just as much as they believed in me. So I think for young guys, man, you got to always be prepared to pay your dues. I think you got to listen more than you talk. I think that you have to build real relationships and be genuine, man. Like, just always be genuine. I see a lot of guys, they're not always the most genuine. They're not always the most straightforward. And I believe, I still to this day always say, and I believe that I was able to climb the way I did because I treated people with respect. I didn't lie to people. And I was always straightforward and real.
Yeah.
Always. And I was going to go down like that. If it prevented me from getting to where I needed to go, at least morally, I knew that I did everything in my power to be me through the whole process.
Yeah.
And it worked out for me.
Yeah, I was going to say it worked out because you're at one of the biggest schools in the country as far as basketball and also women's basketball and also football. So you have a great collection of three-headed monsters. I'm not saying no disrespect to the soccer programs and lacrosse and all that stuff, but you got.
It's SEC.
Yeah. You guys are big time. You guys are big time. Okay. So now that being that you played, and I asked this question, if you were a player right now, and you are a coach on that right now, would you recruit you as a player?
At Tennessee?
Austin Peay.
Yeah.
Austin Peay.
Yeah, at Austin Peay, yes. I'm about to say Tennessee, hell no. I'm a very confident dude, but no.
Got you.
At Austin Peay, yes.
Okay.
Because I think, the qualities that I hold as a person and, as a player, the same that I hold as a coach. Like, I believe in toughness. I believe in guys having skill and IQ. I believe in guys being selfless, guys being competitors. I believe in those things. So, yeah, and I try to instill those with my guys every time I can.
Now, what has been the biggest transition from Austin Peay level? I'm not knocking Austin Peay level to the SEC club, to the Tennessee level. What has been the biggest difference outside of athleticism and height? We know those two things they go without saying, but as far as overall development.
I think that obviously, the pace increases every level. I think it does. It definitely does. I think the challenges that are presented or that you present to your players, that they're different. The best player at Austin Peay, take that back. We shouldn't even say the best players, because the best players at mid-major schools usually can produce at the high major level. That's usually what it is. The difference is that your top five, put it like this, your backup five at an SEC school, it can probably start at a mid-major school. That's the difference. It's not the top, it's the depth.
Right.
Depth of your guys is different. So obviously across the board you have just, better players. And I think that the challenges that you present to them during workouts, during film study is different because the level of talent is higher. The accountability obviously has to rise because, coaching, everybody wants 5 stars. Everybody, wants to highly ranked guys, the guys with NBA potential, but guys understand that it's not easy coaching them guys. Yeah. If we're being completely honest. Like, it's not. I think that we have some kids on our team that are extremely coachable. And they're both 5-star freshmen. And they're very coachable, man. And it's rare. Because a lot of them kids, they aren't, man. And I can say it just because, again, I was on the grassroots level. I was on the prep school level. And I've coached a good amount in my short time. So far, and I haven't had many issues with 5 stars I coached. I loved all of them, honestly. But I just know that usually those 3-star guys, 4-star guys, or we won't even talk about ranking, just those guys that can't depend on that freak athlete ability.
Right.
Those guys are a little bit grittier and they got a lot more to play for. So I think it's different as far as that. I think the attention to detail is way different. It just is. It's extremely detailed at the high major level. Obviously, people feel like it's easier to recruit at the high major level. No, it's not, because your pool is smaller.
Right.
So the recruiting is a lot different. And you're recruiting against some guys like man, I've recruited against Kentucky twice now. Right. And I've been here since April. Right. I recruited against the SEC is some of the best schools in the SEC, man. Like, they're big time. You recruit against Texas, recruiting against UCLA, recruiting against North Carolina. Like, some of the most storied programs in the history of basketball you recruit against. And you think your stuff nice, but they got just as much to sell as you. Right. You know what I mean? So this is different. But it's fun. Obviously, like I said, you coach really good players. Obviously, the facilities and the school atmosphere and the games and all of that is big time, man. The TV, the attention, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So just walking around here, being a coach here, it's I walk around my building where me and my wife live, and everybody knows our names and they've read our bio. It's crazy, man. It's just the attention to it is wild. It's the SEC basketball at the end of the day, so you're always the talk of the town, which is cool. But the stakes are high. But it's been a good adjustment though. But it is different.
But I tell you, if you lose 4 in a row, those neighborly love notes that you get from people is going to be a little different.
Yeah, Twitter's different, and I'm one of them guys, man. Like, I will talk to anybody. Like, if anybody wants to talk about, fall basketball, or anybody catching me, coach, man, hey, what do you think about, about my building, whatever. I always sit and talk, man, because, at the end of the day, I just got here, so I'm not big time or any of that, man. Like, I'm going to sit and you want to talk about basketball, cool, man, let's talk about it. What you think, man? What you think about this kid? Like, I'll do that all the time with some of the older guys that live in our building. But, I know that, we lose a few games or something goes bad. Man, what do you think about this? And it's like, man, I get caught around here a lot with that. Yeah. Man, coach, what do you think about such and such? Man, what's going on with recruiting? And it's like, sir.
I'm dating myself when I say this. I'm sure that you have, but you really haven't really paid attention to it. You've seen the movie Hoosiers, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you've seen in a scene with Gene Hackman and everyone's in the barbershop and you got the community giving suggestions on how to coach. I can envision that in the Tennessee area.
Hey, and this is the thing, man. So a lot of people, like, you don't necessarily know until you, like, around here. Tennessee has, I think, one of the top 5 fan bases in the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these people, like, they care about everything they love. I mean, man, we had an exhibition the other day. I think we had, like, 8,500 people. Like, for an exhibition.
Wow.
You know, we had the largest on-campus arena in the country. We got 21,678. And we averaged 19,000 a game. You know what I mean? Like, our football team is, you know, under a new regime, got a pretty new coach. So they're taking their lumps right now. Man, they played Ole Miss a couple weeks ago, and it was 102,000. 100. You know what I mean? Like, these people care about everything. They care about all sports, period. So, they own it.
Yeah.
They know everything about our roster. They know everything about every coach. They know everybody we're recruiting.
Yep.
They know, they travel to the games, even when we're on the road. I mean, the man that delivered my baby was telling my wife a couple weeks ago how he was coming to our tournament in Connecticut with his buddies and he couldn't wait.
Oh, my
and
God.
he wanted to have a drink with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
That's crazy. And that's crazy. No, that's really crazy. You guys got 19,000 in your arena?
No, we hold 21. We average 19,000 a game.
Now, this is my New York biases coming out. No disrespect. I'm not sure if the Knicks get 19,000 on the average. I'm not even sure if MSG holds 19,000 on a continual basis.
Yeah, no, it's wild. It is wild.
Wow.
It's wild.
Okay, so now you like you mentioned, you had a good group of people to support you coming up. As far as your mentors, right now, if you were to mentor a young man, I know that you mentioned it earlier, but would you suggest that young coaches go to camps and clinics and the Final Four and be around as many good people as they possibly can as in the profession?
1,000%, man. 1,000%. Like, surround yourself with people. I always say, man, surround yourself with people that have more than you, that are in places that you want to go. You know what I mean? One of my biggest mentors, while I was, growing in the coaching ranks and even to this day, was my man KT Turner. He's the associate coach at Oklahoma. And KT, I met KT when I was 23, I believe. And he's been like a big brother ever since, man. He's been great for me. Like, I call him for advice on everything, and he helped me navigate, through my young coaching career, even to this point. And it's even amazing, like, seeing, me get to the same level as him. And, when I got here, he was just so happy and proud of me, man. But I give a lot of credit for my success to him because he helped me navigate this thing completely better than I could by myself, I know. You know what I mean? So I think that I surrounded myself with him. He was the associate coach at SMU when I first met him. And then he was the associate coach at Texas and now at Oklahoma. He was always somebody I looked up to and I wanted to be at his level. I had, some other guys, Jamal Walker, he said Grand Canyon. That's another, like, big brother to me. He was at Illinois during the time when I was growing in the coaching ranks. So he's been huge for me. Mike Boynton is a good role model that I've had. Kim English, one of my close friends, is head coach Jordan Mason now, who I actually replaced here in Tennessee. Frank Hayes in Tulsa. So, New York, a lot of guys that I looked up to, man, that helped me kind of navigate through the coaching ranks, man, and have been really influential for me. And I think that guys that want to, you want to get into college, you want to work this up, man, you got to have some guys that know what it takes and know how to navigate. Guys that have been in the business for years. Like, you got to be able to reach out to them and ask for advice because who better to give you the advice on how to navigate this thing than the guys that have been doing it and been in it.
Correct. I agree. So we're going to wrap up. I know you got to get to your child, and your wife. Because like I said, happy. What did I say earlier? Happy wife equals happy life.
Yes, sir. Yeah, right.
Those are phrases your grandparents say back in the day. You're like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, you think they're lying? I know I did.
Wrong. All right, anyway, so which college coach were you starstruck when you first got into the business?
Which one was I starstruck?
Yeah.
When I first got in, or like overall?
No, when you first got in, because when you started working with Tim Maher and with Mo Can, you got seen all the superstar coaches. I mean, like when you first got in.
Probably Larry Brown.
Wow.
Yeah, probably Larry Brown. When I used to go up to practices at SMU, I definitely was starstruck by Larry Brown, man. Just because, I grew up in
Kansas.
Allen Iverson was that guy. He was MVP. And, Larry Brown was his coach. And then I also, growing up in Kansas City, Larry was, he won a national championship in Kansas, coaching in the Miracles. So, me seeing him in action was like an all over, like, damn, that's Larry Brown. Right? So being able to be a young coach and go in and sit in on his practice. I mean, I've probably been in about 20 Larry Brown practices where I was sitting and literally just digesting all the information, listening to the things he said, watching how he coaches teams, watching how he held guys accountable. And, seeing that really was great for my growth as a young coach.
I can see that. By the way, he's from New York.
Yeah, I rock with y'all. You know that.
Yeah, I know. All right. Starstruck as far as a player is concerned, you're like, oh, that's bang. Whoever the player was.
Starstruck.
It could be somebody you played against, pick up, or it's just in walking the streets of EYBL game.
Like a player I saw that I was like, man.
That's Dr. J, or I'm not saying Dr. J, but somebody like that level.
Yeah. Man, that's a good question. I never thought of that. I seen some dudes too, man. Let me think. You know what? My first EYBL session, I'm not gonna lie, high school Marvin Bagley was, oof.
He was a problem.
He was. His second jump was something I'd never seen in my life. I'd never seen it in my life, and that was crazy. Yeah, high school Marvin Bagley was special. He was different. So I definitely say him. And then from then on, man, honestly, I couldn't tell you, man, because I've been around so many dudes.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of good players, man. I've been around a slew of them, man. So I've, had a chance to develop some dudes, and I'm like, damn, he's good.
Yeah, you nice.
Yeah, dude's nice. It's crazy, man. So.
And former basketball players, we rarely give compliments with yo, you nice.
Yeah, no, it's hard. My guys now, they get on me man, coach, you don't never give me no credit. Why you don't say nobody nice? I'm like, damn, bro, I do. But you gotta be nice. You gotta really be nice.
I seem nice, and you're not there yet.
Yeah, I seem nice, bro. Come on, man. And I worked with a dude in my first job, D. Brown, at the University of Illinois. And me and D used to argue over players every day. He's like, yeah, he trash, right? He good. No, he nice. Every day, you know what I mean? But just being a real basketball hoop head, man, is what makes me in my profession special, because I've always been a basketball guy. And I call myself I'm a basketball savant. I care about the game. I know a lot about the game. And I love good basketball players. I love good basketball. I love being in the gym. So it makes it special being able to do it at this level every day. But you got to fall in love with this game and the process to really be good at it and put all your foot forward in this.
I agree, 1,000%. 1,000%. Now we're gonna wrap. A last question. What's next for you? Obviously, everyone wants to go up the ladder, but you're at almost at the top of the ladders as far as programs are concerned, or at least in the SEC. That's Power 5. What's next for you as far as your progression as a professional and moving on to the next level and then beyond?
Yeah, for me, I'm big on just worrying about what my feet are, man. So I'm learning as much as I can. Again, man, I'm 28 years old, man, and I work for a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, that's great.
Rick Barnes is one of the best coaches before, he's been to Elite Eight, Sweet 16s. He's coached, Kevin Durant, PJ Tucker, guys like that, TJ Ford. Like, he's coaching really special dudes, man. So, this isn't a place that, you come here, you look for the next gig. Like, man, I work for Rick Barnes in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So, if you look last year, he lost 2 assistant coaches. And one became a head coach at East Tennessee State, and the other one became a head coach at George Mason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the year before that, he lost a coach. Rob Lanier is the head coach at Georgia State. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, he lost another coach the year before that. Chris Dawson was the head coach at UTA. So, Coach Barnes, and he's talked to me about this ever since I came here. He told me he only hires future head coaches. So, that might have been the ultimate best compliment I've ever received in my life. Yeah. So the fact that he looks at me like that and he wants to mold me into something, in that in that realm, like, it's special to me. And I love working for Coach Barnes, man. I love him. He's a great guy, great dude. He looks out for us. He tries to mold and put something in us every single day. And I'm just worried about trying to be the best guy or the best coach I could be under him. He's been great for me, just starting fatherhood and being a husband, just giving me, free game that he learned from being a coach at this level, and the do's and don'ts, man, he gives them to me every day. So I'm extremely appreciative of him, man, and I love being here. So if I have a chance to run my own program one day, then great. That's going to be a great challenge for me, and I'm looking forward to it. But as of right now, I'm patient and learning as much as I can, because I want to be ready when that time comes. And so giving my best that I can to the University of Tennessee is most important for me right now.
No, that's a great answer. Sounds like you ready, brother. You ready for that press conference.
Man, trying to be, man.
No, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. Like I said, like you mentioned earlier, with 3 months and a new wife. So I want you to tend to that. And I appreciate you. And hopefully I'll be watching some games. You guys are coming to Connecticut this year, right?
Man, listen, we come to New York.
Hold on, let me look at your schedule real
to
quick.
Madison Square Garden.
19,000.
Hey, December 7th, we play Texas Tech in Madison Square Garden.
Oh, I'm in there.
Come on, man, for real.
No, I'm in there. Oh, y'all go to Uncasville. Oh, look, Villanova.
Yeah. Purdue, North Carolina.
Purdue.
It's crazy.
Woo. Okay.
Yeah.
And then December 7th.
One thing about Rick Barnes, man, anybody can say he don't run from nothing now.
Ooh, and you got Memphis too.
Yeah. We got Texas at Texas.
Yeah, the old RPIs are gonna be crazy. I know it's not RPI anymore.
You already know.
Y'all playing some hitters here, but I'll definitely be at the Texas Tech game at the Garden. That's a train ride for me, so I'll be in there.
For sure, man. For sure, that'd be perfect, man. Mark, I appreciate you, bro.
Same here, man. Good luck with everything.
All right, man. Thank you.
Thank you.